Child of the Dark Prophecy is the first novel in the Great Tree of Avalon trilogy by T.A.Barron. It is set in a world made up of a great tree and its 7 roots inhabited by creatures. Plot summary. Avalon started its life as a magical seed that beat like a heart, planted by Merlin in Barron's previous series, The Lost Years of Merlin. Soon it grew into a huge tree, having members of every existing species living in its 7 root realms. Elano, the sap of the great tree, is a liquid that has the power to create, with powers far greater than that of Merlin himself. For the first several centuries of Avalon's existence, the creatures lived in harmony, guided by the religion of Avalon, the Society of the Whole. Its followers, known as Dromedians, named after a wood in the lost years of Merlin. The society was started by Elin and Rhiannon, mother and sister to Merlin respectively, also characters from the lost years of Merlin. The society promotes harmony between all races, and the upkeep of the great tree, which sustains them all. However, sometime after Elin died, Rhiannon, called Rhea, resigned as high priestess and left, never to be seen again. Pieces shattered by the War of Storms, a war that included almost all of the races in Avalon and lasted for several centuries. The beginning of the war was heralded by the darkening of the stars in the constellation the Wizard's Star. The war was only resolved by the Treaty of the Swaying Sea, crafted by the mysterious Lady of the Lake and by Merlin. After the war ended, Merlin said that he would probably not return to Avalon, and that Avalon's problems must be solved by Avalonians. As a parting gift he, with the help of his friend Basilgarad the dragon, flew up to the stars and rekindled the darkened constellation. All was well until the Lady of the Lake again appeared, this time to make a prophecy about a year wherein all of Avalon's stars would go dark, and a child would be born who was destined to destroy Avalon. However, there was hope. The true heir of Merlin could save them all, if he was found. During the foretold Dark Year, the majority of creatures in Avalon forbade childbirth, killing all children born in spite of the moratorium. Despite this, rumors persist of a child being born in the Flamellan stronghold in the root realm Ranawan. 17 years after the Dark Year, things are going badly. A drought appears in realms Olanabram, Brynchilla, and Elurian. Humans become anthropocentric and arrogant, and the stars in the Wizard's Star are again darkening, one by one. Characters Tamwin, Ellie, Nuic, Henny, Linya, and later Batilad must journey to the Lady of the Lake to find out what is happening, and how they can stop it. Eventually, it is revealed that a sorcerer, Kulwedge of the White Hands, has dammed the river that sustains the 3 realms named above with the sole purpose of collecting enough of the Elano-bearing water thereof to produce a pure crystal of the substance. For this, he needs Merlin's staff, Onili, which has been for 17 years in the keeping of Tamwin's foster brother, the Eagleman Scree. Tamwin is himself revealed to be Merlin's grandson, to be the child of the Dark Prophecy, and to be the heir. With the aid of his friends Ellie, Nuic, Henny, Batilad, Shim, and Brianna, as well as of Scree and the staff Onili, Tamwin destroys the dam and drives Kulwedge into hiding. It is later revealed that Kulwedge is a servant of Rita Gore, and evil spirit warlord. The main characters: Tamwin, a young man who has, for the majority of his lifetime, lived in the realm of Ranwan with his adopted brother, Scree. He has suspicions that he might be the Dark Child, as he is 17 years old and seems to think there is a hidden darkness in him. His name means dark flame in the language of the Flamellans, his mother's people. His father is Crystallus, Merlin's son. Although they have never met, Tamwin seeks to follow in his father's footsteps, even before learning of his father's identity. Scree and Eagle Boy, having the ability to change between human form and that of an eagle. After his mother was murdered, he was adopted by Tamwin's mother and raised by her until he was 10 years old, as the mother attempted to teach the two the art of portal seeking, wherein the traveler is teleported through the vascular system of Avalon itself. She is killed by the assassin-like birds called Gulukas. Later, visiting the portal, Tamwin and Scree are attacked by the birds again. The two boys enter the portal to escape. Tamwin is sent to Olanabram, while Scree returns to Ranawan. The two then spend the next 7 years in search of one another. Illyriana Lalokanelli, a young trainee at the Society of the Whole. Her parents were killed in gnome raids. She was herself kept in slavery for the majority of her life, clinging to the only remnant of her parents, a harp made by her father, who was a priest in the Society of the Whole, that was later accidentally destroyed by Tamwin the first day they met. After escaping, shortly before the events of this book took place, she went to the Drumadian compound to become a priestess, hoping to follow in her father's footsteps. Her memories continue to haunt her. Nuic's faithful Marith, one of the diverse creatures voluntarily bound in partnership to Drumadian priests and priestesses. He is an old creature, are often referring to ancient events at which he was present. He is a small pinnacle sprite, a rotund mountain dweller whose color changes according to his thoughts and emotions. He is often sarcastic and impatient, though he is wise and witty. Nuic is said to have been the Marith to Rhiannon, daughter of the Drumadian founder and great-aunt to Tamwin. Rita Gore, a shape-changing, immortal spirit who seeks to dominate all the worlds. He emerges slowly into physical form throughout the first 2 books. He is arrogant, cruel, egocentric, and prone to undervaluing all whom he meets. Holy One, though not named until Shadows on the Stars, he is quite prominent in both books. Appearing several times, he is a mysterious bard whose knowledge and power far exceeds that which he chooses to reveal. He is notable for his broad, white beard, his skills of music and poetry, and for a creature called a museo, which dwells in his hat. This creature possesses the most musical voice of all voices in Avalon. Coleridge, an evil sorcerer who desires to gain totalitarian control of Avalon. He especially hates Merlin, and wishes to rid Avalon of the wizard's image. He is shown to be a servant of Rita Gore. Coleridge is known as White Hands because he hides his battle-scarred body beneath a cloak, allowing only his perfectly white hands to show. His plan involves the creation of a dam by which to capture the water of Giza Crystalia, which has enough Elano to make a crystal. He then plans to corrupt the crystal, making it a thing of destruction rather than creation. Brianna, a young elf from Illyrian who is captured by White Hands' arms master, Harlech. She is forced to work on Coleridge's dam. Later, Coleridge blackmails her into stealing the staff Onuli from Scree, who has been its keeper, by threatening the life of her grandfather Tresemir. Brianna obeys, fearing to lose her grandfather. She meets and befriends Shim, a giant who has become dwarf-sized under the influence of a curse. Brianna, having stolen Onuli, is betrayed by Coleridge. She later abets the destruction of his dam. The supporting characters: Shim, a giant who has been reduced to the size of a dwarf, not once but twice, having grown to giant size in between. He is as old as Avalon itself. Shim is a friend of Merlin's, encountered first in the lost years of Merlin. In Child of the Dark Prophecy, he befriends Brianna. Shim always speaks with a particular mannerism, distinguished by his haphazard use of suffices and his use of synonymous adjectives such as certainly, definitely, absolutely in trios. Henny is a hula, a mischievous, reckless, comical person who sees life as a game. He enjoys seeing people become frustrated or hot-tempered, because they are then excited and therefore appear absurd to him. He fulfills this liking by joining the traveling group consisting of Ellie, Nuic, Linya's Marath, Phelin, and Tamwin, whom he teases relentlessly. Penny, for his part, becomes more sober as a result of his experiences of violence and danger. Linya, a priestess of the Society of the Whole. Linya is excessively arrogant, egocentric, and anthropocentric. She torments Ellie constantly and abuses all whom she meets, except the gardener Hanwan Bellamere, who is as anthropocentric as she despite his gentler demeanor. Batty Lad, a small, green-eyed, bat-like creature who joins Tamwin. Batty Lad is happy-go-lucky, cheerful, and talkative. He speaks very quickly, with a tendency toward colorful language. His origins are implied to be of great significance. Rhiannon, T.A.Barron's reinvention of the Lady of the Lake, Rhea, as she is sometimes called, is vital, optimistic, friendly, humorous, courteous, compassionate, wise, and skilled in magical arts. She is very much in touch with nature, though at times she surrenders to her frustrations. She is Merlin's sister and Tamwin's great-aunt. Crystalis Eopia, though he did not actually take action in the book, Crystalis was often mentioned. Son of the wizard Merlin and dear woman Halia, Crystalis was a great explorer who died on his greatest expedition, the journey to the stars. The Lady of the Lake later revealed to Tamwin that Crystalis was his father. The seven root realms. The Great Tree of Avalon splits into 7 roots: air root, mud root, stone root, water root, fire root, wood root, shadow root. The books in the Great Tree of Avalon series